change the rhetoric so that people who work in government, work in public service are respected?
Well, I think you make an important point. Look, Washington is broken. My whole campaign has been premised from the start on the idea that we have to fundamentally change how Washington works. That the domination of special interests, the domination of lobbyists, the loss of a civic culture in Washington among public servants has led to not only well-known disasters, like the mismanagement of the Katrina situation, but quiet disasters where you've got entire agencies that have been hollowed out, and you've got political appointees who aren't concerned with the mission of those organizations. So we've got to transform Washington, and we've got to do some house cleaning. But what we also want to do is to remind young people that if it weren't for government, then we wouldn't have a Civil Rights Act. If it weren't for government, we would not have the interstate highway system. If it weren't for government, we would not have some of our parks and natural wilderness areas that are so precious to America. And so part of my job, I think, as president, is to make government cool again. And to say to young people, to say to young people, even as we're transforming Washington, come on, we want you. We want you to get involved at every level. And by the way, you don't even have to join government. Part of what we're going to do is create transparency and accountability in how government works so that you can be an active citizen holding your public servants and elected officials accountable. That's one other aspect of citizenship, is paying attention to what's taking place. And part of what I've been thrilled about during the course of this campaign is how energized people have been. How interested people are. I mean, the viewership, both for the Democratic and Republican convention, broke all records. You know, we have seen the kinds of volunteerism in our own campaign, which, by the way, we're channeling not just to work on our campaign. We've had 1,000 hours of community service by our volunteers, not organized by us, but organized by themselves. And that's the kind of opportunity that I think we have to tap into.
Now, you mentioned civic participation is at an all-time high. Basically, you mentioned voluntary associations before. Back in the 19th century, the famous French scholar de Tocqueville came here and said, you know, America's voluntary associations is volunteerism, is national service part of American exceptionalism? Is it part of what makes America special?
Yes. We have always balanced the tradition of individual responsibility and self-reliance with notions of community and love for country, in part because of voluntary associations. What it's done is it's allowed people to exercise the freedom to determine the direction of their communities, but still recognizing that we are part of a common project of creating a better life for the next generation. And that's something that's been lost. But what we're seeing in this campaign is it's something that people want to restore. And it requires responsibilities. I mean, part of what is interesting about our campaign, for example, is that when young people come in, we work them like dogs. I mean, and they are given big responsibilities. One of the striking things when you visit our troops in Iraq or Afghanistan, you've got 22, 23-year-old platoon leaders who are taking on life and death responsibilities and decision-making. We sell too many of our citizens short. They want to be involved, but we've got to start early. And that's part of the reason why I want to make sure that we've got opportunities in high school, we've got opportunities in college, that we help schools create a civic education system that involves community service so that these values are transmitted to the next generation. And I think parents would be thrilled to have their kids turn off the video game and get out there and do something, and you know what? It turns out the kids would appreciate it as well.
Is there a president or an administration that would be a model for you? I mean, everybody talks about what John Kennedy asked the country to do, but John Kennedy or any other president?
Well, look, I think what Kennedy did at a time of enormous change was to look out into the horizon and say, this is